Holy Ghost, Batman by Amorloran. Chapter 4. Soft Serve and Soft Starts. The Dairy Queen on Grand Ave in Springfield, Illinois, didn't seem like the kind of place where your life was supposed to change, but for Danny Fenton it was natural ground, public enough to be safe, plain enough to avoid drawing attention, and real enough to feel like fate. He sat in a corner booth under the giant "Treat Yourself Right" sign, anxiously rearranging napkins while his sister Jazz calmly sipped a blizzard, her bobby pink sedan visible through the window like an accidental reference on its own. "You okay?" Jazz asked, nudging him with her foot under the table. Then he drummed his fingers on the plastic tray and shrugged. "Just a little nervous. If you don't count existentially spiraling while eating curly fries in the town that may or may not be the same Springfield as The Simpsons, then yes, I'm very good, you know, normal stuff, like meeting the woman who gave birth to me." Jazz gave him a small, supportive smile. "You're going to be fine, don't worry. If this turns into a Treehouse of Horror episode, I will protect you from Kang and Kodos. I mean, it's not like she is a secret agent or a vigilante or anything." Danny cracked a smile but tapped his fingers faster. "Yeah, that'd be crazy." Just then the door chimed. A woman stepped in, blonde, around her early 30s, wearing a lavender hoodie and faded jeans, her lips still twitching with the familiar da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. She glanced around with a nervous smile, and then he swore he wasn't imagining this, was still quietly humming the Simpsons theme song. Jazz whispered, "Did she just—" Danny nodded. "Yep, definitely humming the theme." Stephanie Brown spotted them and hesitated, eyes locking with Danny's, and lit up in recognition, which was weird because he didn't send her a picture. She offered a cautious wave and made her way over. "Hi," she said, her voice catching slightly as she stood across from him. "Danny?" He stood awkwardly and gave a small nod. "Yeah, that's me." Jazz stood first and offered her a hand. "Hi, I'm Jasmine, Danny's sister. Legally, biologically, questionable." Steph shook her head and laughed. Too loud, too quick, and a little strained given the context. "Hi, Stephanie. I don't usually pick restaurants based on cartoon references, but I figured, why not lean into the absurdity?" Then he slowly stood up, heart hammering in his chest. "Hi." "Hi," she echoed. Her eyes locked with his and widened just a little, like she was drinking in every detail. "You look like him, like your father. But you've got my nose." Danny laughed awkwardly and scratched behind his ear. "Yeah, my nose is pretty buttony, I guess." Her smile widened, but it trembled at the edges. "Wow, you're taller than I imagined." "You're shorter," he said before his filter kicked in. "I mean, not in a bad way. You just didn't look like someone who could throw me across a room or anything." Steph laughed, an honest, surprised laugh. "That's good. I was worried I'd come off like a Bond villain. Also," Jazz added with a grin, "he's extremely dramatic, like Gotham levels of dramatic." Stephanie put her hands up. "Hey, I will take the blame for that. I did watch Darkwing Duck while pregnant." Jazz looked at Danny. "That explains so much." They sat down, the red vinyl booth squeaking beneath them. Stephanie glanced at the tray. "You didn't get a dilly bar?" Danny shrugged. "Too frozen. Bad dental experience. Thank you both for arranging to meet me here. I know it's not exactly traditional." "It's Springfield," Jazz said. "I'm still half convinced Bart Simpson's going to skateboard past the drive-through window." Steph blinked. "That might be the weirdest sentence I've heard." Stephanie smiled and slid into the booth. wouldn't be the weirdest thing to happen in my life. And I once heard Batman sing karaoke. Jazz leaned forward. Wait, Batman sings? Stephanie nodded solemnly. Only on Adornus or on Christmas Eve once. Then he chuckled despite himself. The tension in his shoulders started to melt a little, like a soft surf cone in the Springfield sun. So, Steph said softly, rubbing her hands around a paper cup of water she hadn't touched. This is really happening. Yeah, Danny replied. Guess so. Danny sat down slowly, still watching her with a mix of awe and hesitation. I wasn't sure you'd say yes. I wasn't sure you'd call, she admitted, looking down at her hands. I thought about this moment so many times. What I'd say, what you'd be like, whether you'd even show, and now you're here. I don't know where to start. Then he toyed with the edge of his cup. Start anywhere. I've got questions, but I just wanted to meet you. Stephanie nodded. Okay, well, first off, you're really handsome. I know I'm BS'd, but wow. Danny blushed. Thanks. You don't look like someone who gave up a baby 17 years ago. She gave a soft, nostalgic chuckle. That's sweet of you. I wasn't much more than a kid myself. Things were complicated. Kind of complicated I couldn't control. Danny nodded solemnly. I've had a few of those. Jazz elbowed him gently. He once broke into a museum by accident. Long story. Stephanie raised an eyebrow. Accident? Danny grinned sheepishly. I was chasing someone, or something, I mean. Not important. Stephanie giggled. Okay, Batman. Danny smirked. I do, brute. Just ask Jazz. True. Jazz said. He stares out the window dramatically and everything. I don't stare. I ponder. Stephanie laughed a real laugh. Pondering is very much something your father would do. Danny's smile faded slightly. Is he okay? My dad, I mean. She nodded. He's okay. I didn't tell him about this meeting yet. Figured I'd see how this went first. Jess jumped in to change the subject. So, do you live around here? Once again her question was awkward and fell flat. Jazz really felt like a third wheel to the conversation, but she still wanted to be here for Danny. She was also his ride back to Amity. Gotham, Stephanie said casually. Danny blinked. Really? What's it like? Stephanie made a face. Loud, wet, constantly under construction, and somehow always raining. Danny laughed. Sounds familiar. Amity's got its own charm. Ghost town, literally. Stephanie cocked her head. Ghost town. Danny winced. Just a nickname. High school slang. Totally not ominous. Jazz chimes in. It's mostly normal, except for the days that aren't. Steph gave them a curious smile. You're both very cryptic. I like that. So are you, Danny countered. You didn't tell me much on the phone. Stephanie sipped from her water. I didn't want to overwhelm you. I figured I'd let you see for yourself that I'm not a supervillain. Danny laughed. Well, you're off to a good start. Though I have to say, humming the Simpson theme in the doorway was a bold choice. Stephanie smirked. Gotta respect the classics. They sat in silence for a moment, but it wasn't awkward, just full. A little unsure, a little heavy, but real. Getting up, they moved to the counter. Jazz waved at the counter. 3 sundries, please. And if you have flamingo mo, I will take that too. The cashier blinked. Ma'am, this is a diary queen. Jazz sighed. Springfield disappoints me again. Stephanie grinned. I don't think you're old enough for a flaming mole. Anyway, just a blizzard and a crusty burger if you got one. The employee blinked. Ma'am, this is a diary queen. Jazz sighed. Springfield lied to me. Danny leaned back, the faintest smile on his face. This is the weirdest day of my life. Stephanie looked at him with misty eyes. Weird is good. I think I missed 17 years of it. I'd like to catch up, if that's okay. Then he met her gaze. Yeah, I'd like that too. Stephanie's eyes welled up slightly, but she blinked her tears back. You have been through a lot, haven't you? Then he shrugged, suddenly shy. Yeah, but I had a good life. Manny and Jack, they were weird, but they loved me. They still don't know I know, though, about the adoption. Stephanie nodded. You can take your time with that, or not tell them at all, if you want. I'm not here to rewrite anything. I just want to see you, to tell you I'm proud of who you've become. And as they shared their first tsundere together, neither of them said the words they were both thinking. That they both had secrets. That the world was a lot stranger than a diary queen in Springfield could ever know. But for now, weird was enough.